Adventism is basically the belief that Jesus is coming back, that his return is imminent, it's soon, it's near coming. Some people don't really believe it or doesn't believe it's going to happen in the near time future. What we believe is going to actually happen too, and God is coming back for us.
Adventism is it's a belief system. We believe in the second coming of Christ, which I guess is portrayed during the three angels message. And we are separated, well, most people think of us because we worship on the seventh day Sabbath, which is Saturday. And we have a health message.
Adventism to me is the belief that the true Sabbath is on Saturday. Also, the belief that Jesus is coming again, and that the belief in the three angels message. Sorry.
Adventism is basically a religion that go to church on Saturdays. They believe in eating healthy.
The Bible, because it keeps Seventh Day Sabbath. So, but also it's heretical because I've been like a fifth generation and stuff. So, even my father, he came from the Baptist church, and he was asking about the Sabbath at the Baptist church. It just happened to be my mother, and that came together. But my mother's side been Adventist since the Civil War era, since around that time. So that's what resemble, just basically because the law, basically.
I'm an Adventist, mostly because I was born into Adventism. I'm some kind of generation. I don't know how many generation Adventists, but it's what I was born and raised in. And so growing up, I was an Adventist because that's what my parents were. But now I'm an Adventist because coming to Oakwood, I've studied and figured out that this is the religion that I want to continue serving because I believe in the majority of what we say.
It wasn't really me who decided to become an Adventist. It was more of my parents, because at first, maybe I was around like 6 or 7, is when we decided to convert to Adventism because of, I think my father had been talking to someone who was Seventh Day Adventist, and he introduced him to the faith. So eventually we started going to church, and then we kind of just adapted the SDA faith.
So me personally, I'm not Adventist because I feel you don't really need a religion to go to heaven because God know your heart.
I understand people want to wear it, but I'm against it because actually it used to be to actually ward off demons. And back in see, I'm from a little older than most people in the class, but back in my day, you only wore jewelry if you were a visitor or you just really a relative. People didn't really wear jewelry in any of the color, any of the races, in any of the churches. That was not a thing to be actually done in Adventist church. That's what set us apart.
My stance on jewelry is that I'm okay with it. As you can see, I pierce my ears. I wear jewelry sometimes, and I think it's a personal conviction. I don't like how Adventism we try to make it. If you wear jewelry, you're going to hell, type of thing. I think it's a personal conviction based off of the point of if it becomes an idol to someone. So yeah.
I think that I don't think that it's a sin to wear jewelry because, it's not really anywhere in the Bible. I think that when we choose to like make things like an idol, like if we put jewelry ahead of God, or like anything, if we put shoes or makeup or anything that we put before Christ that we make into an idol, can be dangerous. And I don't think that it only pertains to jewelry.
So I really don't understand it because I don't see how it's a sin to wear jewelry.
So I'll just take what I know what Ellen White said. Ellen White said, no, any woman can do any ministry, but they can't actually be a pastor or elder. And this is just what Ellen White said. So, and she's a woman. So how can I go against it? And I've seen bad things, but I mean, you can go either way. But it's just what she said. Otherwise, if it wasn't for something like that, I wouldn't really necessarily too much agree. But we have to go also with the Bible. Why aren't they giving this past the Bible? But they can do every type of ministry. So to me, it's egalitarian, but at the same time, she was against that. So, what can you say? The Spirit of the Lord.
My stance on women's ordination is that women have the power to save lives and touch lives differently than men can. and saying that a woman can't be ordained as a minister but can be ordained as an elder is contradictory, because they literally do the same thing. The really only difference is pay and position title. So the whole Adventist church saying that women can't be ordained, I think it is very political and not biblical standing at all.
I think that there's been many women prophets. Of course, the person who founded Oakwood, Ellen G. White, was a prophet. God spoke to her. I don't believe that, it's a men's job, quote unquote. It's like specifically for them. I think that both men and women can be called to do God's whatever he intends them to do.
So I feel it's not right, because a woman should be able to preach just like a man should.
As far as the racial stuff, I heard that a little monetarily wise, money wise, that it's less supported the black. Because this is what I meant. There's a guy that was Puerto Rican. He got saved by a black guy. He was about to become a pastor. He was about to become a priest in the Catholic Church, but a black brother, I guess, gave him these Adventists, but gave him the word. And so he had the option to go either the white conference or the black conference, and even the white conference don't go with them. They're poor. We got money over here, this and that. But he was like, I felt I want more black brothers, but I heard it's less in the dividing the money. But with me, also some parts of California, it was kind of different like that in the Loma Linda areas. Like, we all have races and we can all separate. All the races actually were doing pretty good in their own separation. So that's one thing that Ellen White's had. And I think that's a good thing, because some people just feel a lot better around their own type people sometimes.
I think regional conferences had a place when they first started. I did a paper over this, and they had to do it because of the racial tension within America. If the Adventist Church, I feel like if the Adventist Church made up its mind that it would stop being racist and dealing with this racist tendency, there wouldn't be a need for regional conferences. But the fact that the Adventist Church is still full of racism within the political aspect of it, regional conferences are definitely still needed, and they still serve a purpose. Eventually, though, if the Adventist Church once gets it right, they need to get rid of them.
I don't really know much about the General Conference or anything about that really, but I do know that there has been a lot of strain between us and other Adventists who don't look like us. And I feel like as a church that we should kind of step back and think about what being a Christian really means. And I think that we have to remember that God didn't come on earth to save just one type of person. I feel like before we're anything else, we're Christian. Before we're black or white or anything like that, I think we need to think about who we are and what we stand for, and how we should go about spreading God's love. And I feel like if we're divided, especially between our own selves, I feel like we can't really grow as a church. So I think that there has to be a solution somehow, but somehow we need to come together and find a way to grow as a church with our differences and everything.
I don't really have an opinion on that.